Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is going to be this. Rational thought has left the building. So I'll get to that in a minute. Hope everybody's well. Relax with me. Allow your breath to slow down. Become a little bit more full. So keep on breathing nice and slow. In a relaxed body. Teach your brain you're safe. So, one thing that I've observed and is crystal clear is that when you are in a panic, when you are terrified, when you are in what I call freak out, your rational thought has left the building. It's not available. It's not to be found, right? Because when we're in a panic, we just can't think straight. Because when we're in a panic, our brain says, survive, right? So it's very easy in this world of chronic symptoms or chronic pain. You know, Dr. Sarno called it TMS, which stands for tension myositis syndrome, later renamed to tension myoneural because it also involved the nerves. Tension myo meant the muscle, and now it's referred to as the mind-body syndrome, and there's a number of different acronyms and terms for it out there. The term which I've coined is perceived danger pain. We can call it perceived danger symptoms because it goes well beyond just pain. And in general, symptoms are a perceived danger response. So whatever language you want to use, the key is that it's the perception of danger that's creating the symptoms. If you'd like to dig in deeper, go to dansfaststart.com, and there's a series of videos there on that playlist on YouTube that will really give you a foundational education in the concepts I teach every day. If you haven't watched them, please do. If you're new to this stuff, please watch it. dansfaststart.com. So I do group coaching. I used to do a lot of one-on-one coaching, but got too busy for that, so I expanded to group, and it actually turns out better that way. But I have access to well over 100 people a week that show up on the Zoom calls. And, you know, what I've observed is that the more terrified people are, the harder it is for them to accept the rational information which is being portrayed in those coaching calls. Same thing holds true for the videos. There's a lot of, you know, basic foundational knowledge that I convey daily. But if you're in a panic, it's just not sinking in. And let's say you're having a flare-up at home and your symptoms are really high and you're in a freak out. Where's your rational thought? It's not available to you. It's left the building, right? It's checked out because your brain is in survival mode when we are in that much of a state of panic. And so what do we actually do with that? And first, comment below if you are the type who understands and gets how rational thought is just not available to you. It goes out the window when we're in a panic. And so if you've experienced that, comment below, share your story. But what do we do if we find ourselves in a state of fear? Fear, panic, even freak out where we're just terrified. Well, rational thought goes out the window. So first thing I will tell you is that when we are in that high state of fear, rational thought's out the window, but the fear brain kind of kicks in. Oh no, what if this is happening? What if that never happens? What if I never get better? Oh my God, what if the doctor missed? Right? And we get kind of stuck in that fear-based loop. And the more we're fearing, the higher the symptoms seem to get sometimes. And it's because the perception of danger is creating the symptoms or is determining the intensity level, right? So, if you're in a complete freak out, spinning on these fearful, catastrophic, worrisome thoughts, it's not exactly going to allow the brain to settle down this set of symptoms that are caused by the brain's perception of danger, because if you're freaking out, you're fueling that perception. So the first thing I'll tell you is that if you're in that freak out state and your rational thought has left the building, recognize that the thought that's left is not true. Fear is a liar, right? Fearful thoughts are not based on truth. They're just based on fear and worst case scenario, and the most horrible things you can think of come out of that fear brain. So first step, don't believe the BS that your fear brain is kicking out. You don't have to believe it. I literally just had somebody comment today, I think on Facebook, and they said, it's important to be reminded that we don't have to believe our own thinking. Because for the longest time, I always just imagined if I had a thought, it came from me, so it must be true. Right? Anybody else? Raise your hand, comment below. I'm sure a couple of people waved at the screen. Just because a thought comes from inside of our own head doesn't make it true, doesn't make it factual, certainly doesn't make it beneficial, and it doesn't necessarily make it part of the solution in teaching your own brain that you're okay. So, step 1, don't take your own thinking so seriously. Step 2, relax your body and breathe. Because if rational thought has left the building, you're not going to think your way out of this situation. It's not available to you. But what you can do always is say, I'm not listening to that fear, and go to your body. Relax your body. Let your muscles relax. And just allow yourself to breathe. Let the panic settle. Because if you're not buying into the fearful thoughts, and you relax your body and breathe, over time, you know who comes knocking on the door? Rational thought. It's going to start coming back to you. When it does, you can start to think more rationally about, okay, I understand how this works. I know how the system works, this human brain pain symptom system. I know how it functions. And I know that the perception of danger is what's causing all this stuff. And I've done the assessment, so I know it's me. isthispdp.com. Do the assessments if you haven't. But you see how when you can kind of slow down your breath, relax your body, and just sit with it for a minute or two, or 5 or 10, whatever it is. Let your system settle. Oh boy, tired. But let your system settle. And when it does, you will notice that your rational thought starts to come back online, comes back into the building. And with that rational thought, you can do things like talk to your brain. Watch that video from a couple of days ago. How to talk to your brain to end your pain or symptoms. Watch that video. But if you're in a panic and a complete freak out, are you going to be able to talk to your brain in a rational, calm, reassuring way? No. So if your rational thoughts left the building, if you're in a panic, if you're freaking out, I think there's 2 main steps to get out of that. 1, don't believe your own thinking. Stop believing your own thinking. Because when you're freaking out, your own thinking is not accurate. It's not based on truth. It's only based on fear. Fear is a liar. Number 2, go to your body. Relax your body. Literally. See if you can loosen up the muscles. Neck, face, if you're like this. Because sometimes, you know what the natural facial expression is when you're in a big flare-up and the symptoms are really kicking your ass? We tense up, we tighten up, we breathe shallow. Nothing about that tells your brain that you're safe, which will likely keep the fear loop going. Put a little smile on your face, even through the pain, even through the symptoms. Relax your body. Allow the breathing to take its natural pace. And after a while, you're going to notice your thinking slows down, becomes more rational, and that's when you can have a conversation with your brain. Just like I've explained in the video a couple of days ago, how to have a conversation or how to talk to your brain to end your pain, right? So if rational thought has left the building, folks, you got to figure out a way to settle down so it can come back into the building. Because if you are in a panic and you stay in that panic, it's going to be really tough to reason with yourself, to reassure yourself, to calm yourself. So, step one, don't believe your own thinking. You just got a crazy lunatic running around up inside your head going, we're in trouble, oh no, right? So we don't listen to that. And then next, we focus on the body. Relax it so that you can breathe. And eventually, the rational thought will come back. Step 3, have a rational conversation with your brain about what's going on. And again, watch that video from a couple of days ago. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to wrap this one up here. But leave your comment below, your experience with rational thought leaving and when it eventually comes back. And usually, symptoms don't go away while you're in that panic. But oftentimes, things get better when the rational thought comes back and you're able to rationally, intellectually, with wisdom, trust, confidence, just know you're okay and convey that message to your brain. And the relaxed body breathing, that'll definitely work with the rational thought that will come back online once you've done these two things. Hope this makes sense. Play around with it, folks. If you're in a panic, remember these 2 steps. Don't believe your own thinking. Relax your body and breathe. Step 3, once the rational thought has come back online, have a conversation with your brain. For examples, look at the video from a couple of days ago. So I love you, folks. I know you can get well. I wouldn't do this every day if I didn't think you could get better. And so, we'll see you folks tomorrow as usual. Take care. Love you.